How's it going, everyone? I want to talk about a pretty notable sequel that's been announced. Hyper Light Drifter is getting a follow-up from Heart Machine, and that is Hyper Light Breaker. Now, the game has not been confirmed for PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, but I would imagine at some point it will be coming to those platforms. But it will be coming to Steam's Early Access program in spring of 2023. We'll talk all about that. A free-to-play game will be dropping on PlayStation 5 later this month, and we've got some details on Forspoken's delay. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But yes, Hyper Light Drifter is getting a follow-up, and the game is titled Hyper Light Breaker, a new action roguelite adventure game set in the world of Hyper Light Drifter. It was noted, it's wild to think it's been 6 years since we released Hyper Light Drifter. That's coming from Heart Machine creator, director, and Hyper Light Drifter creator Alex Preston. He continued the long journey from the dream project getting kickstarted back in 2013 to now has been incredible. We feel deeply fortunate to be able to celebrate the franchise in this way. Crowdfunding for the game exceeded our wildest expectations, leading to millions of players from around the world falling in love with Hyper Light Drifter. Fans put their trust in us back then to deliver on the vision. We can't wait for our community to experience Hyper Light Breaker. It's a new path and culmination of everything we've learned over the past 8 years of development at Heart Machine. The game already has some details out on its official Steam page, noting, enter the Overgrowth, a new land in the world of Hyper Light. Play alone or with friends to explore massive biomes, defeat brutal monsters, create new builds, survive the mysterious crowns, and overthrow the almighty Abyss King in this action roguelite adventure from the creators of Hyper Light Drifter. It notes a brand new 3D world to explore. It is definitely shaking things up from a visual standpoint, just to say the least, upping that quality quite a bit. A world in disarray with mysteries to solve, vicious enemies to fight, and fully 3D environments to explore. A vast, ever-changing world awaits with massive open biomes and deep labyrinths. Use your wall-dashing hoverboard glider and more for incredible freedom across landscapes. Lead the Breakers, play single player, or lead your team of Breakers through the Overgrowth in online cooperative play. Face hordes of enemies, gigantic bosses in frantic third-person combat. Explore, collect, and destroy. Discover and unlock a wide arsenal of weapons and items to create the perfect build for every run. Learn more about the Overgrowth and the deep storylines hidden within with each death and subsequent attempt, and help a settlement flourish, bringing with it colorful characters and permanent upgrades. Visit the settlers between each run and discover their stories. An announcement trailer is uploaded. Again, I wouldn't expect to play this on PlayStation for quite a while. It's hitting early access in 2023, in the spring of 2023, and that's just a, tentative window. Things can change at the drop of a dime, as we've seen in the gaming world, but the game from a visual standpoint looks great. I love the art style, and Heart Machine's doing a pretty good job in putting out some unique titles. Hyper Light Drifter. Now we have Hyper Light Breaker, and obviously recently they also put out Solar Ash, which Solar Ash saw a little bit more of a mixed reception. I thought it was a pretty cool game. I thought the price point was a little bit high. I really thought that was the main issue with the game, but still, hopefully, they do a good job with Hyper Light Breaker, because Hyper Light Drifter is, generally speaking, a pretty darn well-received game. Like, people love Hyper Light Drifter, especially if you're into old-school titles, so hopefully Hyper Light Breaker will be a natural evolution of it. But already, just looking at the trailer, it's got some slick presentation, and hopefully a awesome soundtrack will be there when the entire game does drop sometime in 2023, early access, and then we'll see an official release sometime thereafter. Next up, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt will be dropping on April 27th. Now, this is a game that's been in early access on PC and Steam for quite a while. Blood Hunt is a thrilling free-to-play battle royale game set in Prague, consumed by a ruthless war between vampire clans. Use your supernatural powers, weapons, and wit to hunt your rivals and dominate the night. This is a battle royale title in that Vampire the Masquerade universe. Obviously, a lot of us are waiting for the follow-up to that game. Again, I know a lot of you guys are kind of burnt out on Battle Royale games. This one does have an interesting twist to it, and at the end of the day, it is a free-to-play title. The game notes Supernatural World. Whether you prefer a sneaky surprise attack or dive straight into battle, all guns blazing, choose your clan allegiance to define your playstyle with unique supernatural power, ruthless dominance. Roam from the deadly streets to the rooftops of Prague, preying on mortals to grow in power. You've got unholy alliances, hunt as a solitary predator in single-player and ranked game modes, or rally your friends to join your 3-player squad and go into visceral, fast-paced fights where team play and strategy are essential. Stylish predators, you can create your most unique looks for rivals to remember you by. Customize your appearance with stylish outfits, timeless hairdos, piercings, or tattoos, and show off your personality with looks truly to kill. And set in the World of Darkness universe, Blood Hunt draws from this grim version of our modern world where vampires hide in plain sight and fight against hunters, other vampires, and their own worst instincts, all while struggling to maintain the masquerade. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, the Battle Royale free-to-play title, is scheduled for a release on April 27th on PlayStation 5 only. You can pre-order the Founders Edition, the Founders Ultimate Edition, excuse me, but the game itself will be a free-to-play Battle Royale title, again dropping on April 27th. Lastly, we had recently heard about the delay to Forspoken, Square Enix's upcoming PlayStation 5 console exclusive, for $70. Just want to note that this is a $70 game, but nonetheless, Forspoken was scheduled for a release in May, but it has been pushed back to October, and I think a lot of us saw this delay coming. The game just looked a little bit rough around the edges. It did look, obviously, from a technical standpoint, pretty visually impressive, and I think that's what's to be expected out of Luminous Productions. That team is doing technically very, very impressive stuff, but again, Forspoken was originally scheduled for a May release, but speaking to Game Informer, creative producer Ryu Mitsuno spoke on the game and the delay, noting that they're looking into a lot of feedback and plan to make adjustments accordingly so that it's kind of the optimal experience, noting there's been some commentary about the frequency of banter between Frey and Cuff and when you're out in the world. Those kind of things we're looking at in terms of fine-tuning the frequency, making sure that it's not to the point where it feels overwhelming, but we want to make sure it's timed nicely where it doesn't feel like there's too much silence when you're playing out in the vast world. Seems like some more attention to detail aspects of the game. Look, I'm hoping for the best out of Forspoken. Whenever there is a big budget new IP that is dropping and a publisher's putting a lot of resources attached to it, I'm always gonna be hopeful that it turns out really well. That's how we can get more IPs, more compelling worlds for gaming to create, and Forspoken can definitely have that potential, and it has that potential, but I am in line with a lot of you guys in that I see the comment section, not just in our videos, but a lot of other videos, you know, social media, when talking about Forspoken, the general consensus is that, yeah, technically, this game looks very, very impressive, but there's just a couple of things here and there, and from a gameplay standpoint, I don't know how enjoyable it's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be a game I'm going to play day one, and take your time with this one. If you need to delay the game again, delay it again, because, again, it's a big-budget new IP, and I get it that eventually you just gotta put the game out, and there's so many resources that's been allocated to this game, and I'm sure Sony wants the game out as well for their timed exclusivity agreement or whatever the case may be. I'm sure that's easy to work out, but yeah, hopefully the game turns out really well, because this is one of the bigger titles dropping this fall. Now that we're kind of becoming aware of what that fall lineup is gonna be, you know, Forspoken's definitely got some competition, and more games are going to be announced, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out in that fall. I think that May release date, if the game would have been up to par, would have been a really good release date to drop the game at, because as you guys probably are aware, this month, next month, heading into June, there's not a lot of big releases, and Forspoken really would have had all eyes on it, but at the end of the day, quality over everything else. You know, sometimes timing doesn't work out the best, but hopefully the game does turn out pretty well, and hopefully it does hit its October release date. But even then, if you gotta delay the game again, delay it again. I know I am often pretty vocal about delays and things like that, but in this case, I think take as much time as you need. It's a brand new IP. You really want to hit it home right the first time out. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Hyperlight Drifter getting a follow-up title on Hyperlight Breaker, hitting Steam's Early Access program in early 2023. Hopefully, we do see a PlayStation version sometime down the line. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, a free-to-play Battle Royale title dropping April 27th. And Forspoken, looks like they're fine-tuning some details based on fan feedback. Hopefully, that turns out well in October. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.